YouTube channel. So didn't you subscribe yet? Click below subscribe button and click the bell icon.
Okay guys, let's start the lesson complex numbers. At first you should get the basic conception what is complex numbers. Complex numbers were introduced to allow complex equations to be solved with numbers that are the square root of negative numbers. These types of numbers are called imaginary numbers. Okay guys, I think you get a basic conception from my description. Okay, I hope to talk ahead. Okay, let's find out what are the parts of the generalized form of the complex number. Let's go to the example 1. Z equal 4 plus 10i. In this generalized form, 4 is the real part plus 10i is the imaginary part. Okay, let's go to the example 2. Z equal 9 plus 5i. In this generalized form, 9 is the real part plus 5i is the imaginary part. Complex numbers using the rectangular form. Okay, in this part we are going to discuss what is the generalized form of complex number and how is it right. Z equals x plus jy. Let's look at what are the letters represents. Z represent the vector of complex number. X represents real part or the active component. Y represents imaginary part or the reactive component. J represents defined by square root of negative number. Please give your attention for me and look at this. Okay, complex numbers can represent point in a two-dimensional complex. The horizontal axis called real axis and the vertical axis called imaginary axis, and the two-dimensional form called complex or explained. Okay, look at the generalized form. Z equal 6 plus 4j. In this form, real part is 6, imaginary part is 4j. Let's look how to draw the explain and mark in the explain. Okay, draw horizontal axis and name real number. Then draw a vertical axis and name imaginary number. And mark the numbers shown in figure. 6 represent real axis and 4j represent the imaginary axis. Then we mark the point 6 of 4. Then draw a line from the 0 point to mark point shown in figure. Okay, I think you are understood how to draw explain and name the explain. Look at this. What is the solution of this? Everyone knows it is 10. But can we have the square root of negative number? So there is no any real solution. So we called imaginary solution. Square root of negative 100. So we can break it up two factors like this. Square root of negative 1 times 100. We can break it up again into square root of negative 1 times square root of 100. So this is the major first rule. Square root of negative 1 equal to I. Therefore, we can write this I times 10 and then we write this 10i. Okay, I think you are understood well. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's discuss how addition and subtraction complex numbers. Look at the example 1. 8 minus square root of negative 4 plus 2 plus square root of negative 16. According to the first major rule, I equal square root of negative 1. We can write the square root of negative 4 like 2i and square root of negative 16 like 4i. Then we can write 8 minus 2i plus 2 plus 4i. Then solve the equation and we can write 10 plus 2i. Okay, let's go to the example 2. 8 minus square root of negative 4 minus 2 plus square root of negative 16. Okay, we can write square root of negative 4 2i and square root of negative 16 4i, and then we write 8 minus 2i minus 2 plus 4i. Then we solve the equation and we can write 6 plus 2i. Okay, I think you understand well. In this part, we have discussed how to multiply and divide complex numbers. Okay, look at the example 3. 2 plus 4i times 3 minus 5i. Okay, then we multiply 2 by 3 and 2 multiplied by minus 5i, and then multiply 4i by 3 and 4i multiplied by minus 5i. Then we can write 6 minus 10i plus 12i minus 20i squared, and then we write 6 plus 2i minus 20i squared. The second law, minus 1 equal to I square. According to the second law, we can write minus 20i square like minus 20 times minus 1. Then we can write 6 plus 2i minus 20 times minus 1. Then we can write 6 plus 2i plus 20, and solve the equation. We can write 26 plus 2i. Okay, let's go to the example 4. 2 minus 4i divided by 1 plus 3i. When we go to solve this both up and down, divided by 1 minus 3i, then jam this. Okay, I tell again. When we go to solve this both up and down, divided by 1 minus 3i, then we can multiply 2 by 1 and minus 3i, and minus 4i multiplied by 1 and minus 3i. Okay, we can write 2 minus 6i minus 4i plus 12i square. Then multiply downside 1 multiplied by 1 and minus 3i. Then 3i multiplied by 1 and minus 3i. Then we can write 1 minus 3i plus 3i minus 9i square. According to the second law, I squared equal to minus 1, we can write 12i squared like minus 12 and minus 9i squared like plus 9. Then we can write 2 minus 6i minus 4i minus 12 divided by 1 minus 3i plus 3i plus 9. Then solve the equation and we can write minus 10 minus 10i divided by 10. Minus 10 minus 10i divided by 10 we can write as final answer is minus 1 minus I. Okay, I think you are understood well, and finally you can have a great knowledge how to multiply and division and subtraction and addition of complex numbers. If you think this is good for your brain, share to with your friends.